Yeah, hello everybody. This is gonna be in English. Please bear with me also because English is not my native language. I'm from Spain. I'm gonna talk about this game that I work on, and yeah, I hope you enjoy it. If you've seen the name of the conference of the talk, right? It's Dune, art, design, performance, what everything conveys. This is more art focused. It's not a technical workshop, so it's not. We're not getting really deep into stuff. I'm not opening Unreal Engine. I'm not starting to do technical stuff. This is more casual talking. I don't know if the level of the people here, maybe some guys are professional, maybe some are from the art teams, design teams, marketing, different stuff. So what I mean with that is I'll try to not be super technical, not use maybe too deep stuff, so everyone can enjoy, hopefully. So yes, how I'm gonna structure this talk is in these four things. Who is Joaquin Otazu? That's me. Who is this guy? Who is FUNCOM? Is the company that I work for. What is Dune Awakening? That maybe some of you have played it already, hopefully. And what I tried to bring to this project when I got hired. I've been working in this project for 1 year and a half, almost. I've been working in FUNCOM for that time. I was somewhere else before, but let me talk a little bit more about me. Who's this guy? And what I'm doing professionally. So yeah, some stuff there in the background. I just faded it a lot because I'm not very proud of my portfolio. It's very old. NDA, you know that you cannot really upload anything. But I work as an artist. I've been an art director. I've been a studio head, lead artist. Yeah, always trying to be close to the art. I started in 2012, 13 years ago. And yeah, I started as QA in a small company in Madrid. This does no longer exist. And yeah, yesterday I was practicing this in the hotel room with the clock. And I was like, fuck, 2 minutes. And I finished already. What I'm gonna do with the rest now? And I was practicing about this speech, and that's kind of weird, right? Because you're talking about yourself in third person. It's a strange moment. The first job I got in the industry was a funny moment. So if someone here maybe is not working in the industry yet, or is thinking about, hey, I should try. Yes, you should. I talked with a guy. I think the industry went very, very popular. It was popular before, but in the 12, 13 years that I've been working here, it's insane how it grew, at least in my country, in Spain. When I started, it was like a friend of a friend of a friend, like, I know someone that works in somewhere, they do video games. So they got me the contact, and I was shitting on my pants. I wrote the guy, like, yes, I want an interview. So I went there wearing a suit, like very fancy, super fancy. And the guy actually sent me an email, long email, like, it's not easy to get into the office. You should know this. There's a hidden room. And I started reading. I'm a very nervous guy. And I was like, fuck, it cannot be so difficult. So I just went there with a suit and I got lost in the building. And I thought, I should have written this email. Finally, I found the place and I opened the door wearing a suit. And it was, I'm not exaggerating this story. It's a real story, trust me. People was drawing in the walls. Like people was eating donuts, like colorful donuts. It was a birthday of someone, so probably it wasn't a normal, regular day, but people eating donuts. It was a Super Mario statue, like huge. People drawing in the walls, and I was wearing the suit. And I was like, fuck, I want to work in this company. I want to work in video games. And they literally, everyone looked at me like, you're the new guy, right? Yes. So the boss had a office in the middle of the office. Like, it has a crystal, like glass thing in the middle of everyone. That was creepy. But that was his office, and he was there, and he asked me, "Hey man, do you like to wear suits?" I said, "No, not really. I don't know, I'm nervous." He said, "Don't worry, you know this guy with the tattoos, the dreadlocks, and that's the art director." So in that moment, I thought, yes, I want to be that guy. That was 2012, and I didn't really know much. I didn't really know anything. The only condition they gave me is, "Man, we cannot pay you," and it was fair. Like, I cannot do anything. So that was the starting, and it was amazing. Then, because of that, they actually told me, "You don't know Photoshop, you don't know whatever, 3D Max, Maya." I said, "No." So there's a school right next to us. You should go there and learn. So I started studying after joining the industry and doing it parallelly. And then I started becoming a geek. And for the first time, I was studying an engineering before. For the first time, I was good. Like, for the first time, I was enjoying what I was doing. I was actually the best guy in the class. The best, and humble also. But no, like, for the first time, I was, like, good at something. And I was surprised and amazed, like, hey, I enjoy these things. So I started become a geek and spending a lot of time doing art in-house, like enjoying, like, oh, I can make this my profession. Like, this is like playing video games. For me, it was something similar. So they gave me an internship in an art studio doing 3D and concept. Concept, it was one day. I talked to the boss and I said, "This is not going to work, man. Find something else. I think I'm not a good concept artist." And then I started playing around with Substance Painter, with, I guess you know it. And before that, it was Quixel. And now it's very trendy too, but they disappeared for a moment. So I became a really geek of that software, and then they called me and they hired me for my first AAA. It was Call of Duty from an outsourced company, right? In Spain, there's no big AAA developers, but everything that is AAA or big in that regard is outsourced, right? So that was in Valencia. It's a company that no longer exists. It was called Elite 3D. Very good place. I enjoyed those days a lot. I started becoming like a professional artist, and some years after, I started my own company with some friends, with some people I knew. That was called Secret Six, another outsourced company. And the good thing about the outsourced company, and maybe someone is asking, why do you tell me this? I think I was thinking in Dune, why are you telling me your life? But it's important to me because everything I learned in this process, in these years, I actually tried to bring it to Dune. Outsource is an important word here because I just dropped some here, but the good thing about outsource, and the bad thing, I guess, is that you touch a lot of video games. You develop a lot of video games, and that's very good. Sometimes you want to kill yourself also because you're learning pipelines every time. It's like, no, fuck, now these guys, they do it differently. And now I need to learn again. I'm starting again. It feels a little bit like you're starting again every time you switch projects, but it's very rewarding and it's a great experience because you absorb a lot of people knowledge, a lot of people energy, and that's very, very good. So yes, after that, as I said, I became this studio director. I started to be like a businessman, and I didn't like that thing. I was traveling a lot, meeting clients, going to boring lunch to get drunk with people, just to get a contract. I wasn't really enjoying that. I was very, very far away from the art. I was getting far and far and far. And I was very stressed, super stressed. I was flying around the globe and I was very stressed. And I decided I need to go back to the art. I need to get closer to the engine. I need to be with the people again, with the team, the developers. I'm a nerd, so I want to be with my nerds. I want to be with these business people, right? So that's where I joined FUNCOM. And this is the answer that I gave them in the interview. So I guess they liked it because they hired me. And I guess you know FUNCOM. These guys have been there for a while. And if you don't, I'll give a brief introduction. So who is FUNCOM? It's a developer company. I like this one yesterday. Who is FUNCOM? We are FUNCOM. And everything began like 30 years ago. I think it's now 32. It's 1993, if I'm not wrong. And yeah, these guys have been there for a while. So I knew them, like probably everyone that plays video games. I knew some of their games. I played Age of Conan before, so I knew their IPs. But yeah, they was, I don't know, professionally, I didn't really know much about them, not really where they were based or anything like that. But yeah, FUNCOM has made some iconic video games that maybe you don't know about FUNCOM, but know about this. So 1999, they did The Longest Journey, that I really remember, like being a kid. I really remember this game. Then Anarchy Online, that was another one. I remember having these magazines with Anarchy Online. Age of Conan and Secret World. So they've been doing a lot of multiplayer, MMO, this type of games lately also, right? So let me talk a little bit more about FUNCOM just to not go so quick. We have offices in 4 places in Europe, like Oslo, in Norway, Stockholm, in Lisbon, and then we have one in North Carolina. I work remotely from Spain, but I travel a lot to their offices. They're great. I'm selling the company now. It's a beautiful place. Like really, I'm really honest. It's not because they're recording me, but it's a nice place to work. Something I liked about FUNCOM, and maybe you don't find this on the web, right? If you look for what is FUNCOM, but they feel like a family. And that's something I really like in this project in Dune. They feel like a small studio, and that was something I was missing in the industry, right? With this AAA. I also work in the university giving class, and when they asked me, "Oh, AAA, why I thought, man, AAA is shit. Like, it's the same thing, but bigger and more stressful, and I don't know. We are making games, and that's also important. We tend to forget we're making games, I think, and that's something I try to bring to my team. So, what is Dune Awakening? Let's actually play a video. I think that's gonna be better.
I have a dream. It starts in the desert. You're alone. Dying. Friendless. You cling to life.
That's better.
Thank you. If the sands don't take you, the storm will swallow you whole. In every danger, there is opportunity. A foundation of something greater. A power waiting to be harnessed. Desert power. Master Arrakis, and it will open your mind. This is your path to awakening.
Because that's gonna give you a better idea if you don't really familiar with the game of the next point we're actually discussing about, right? It's a bit longer one.
Combat in Dune Awakening is the fusion of melee, shields, ranged, abilities, and vehicles. As you progress, your tactical options expand, allowing you to express yourself through different styles of play. In the beginning, combat is a short, brutal affair. Do everything you can to knock your opponents off balance and open them up for a retaliating strike. Keep an eye on your stamina, or find yourself in trouble. Early abilities change the paradigm. Use the voice to force your enemies to come to you. Shigawire Claw to stagger an enemy. Knee charge into melee range. Ranged weapons like the Mauler pistol allow you to maintain distance and take down enemies from afar, until a shielded enemy enters the fray. Boltzmann shields change the nature of combat. Their kinetic barrier can only be pierced by slow-moving objects. Fast on defense, slow on attack. Swords, daggers, kinjals, and rapiers are effective for dealing with shielded enemies, but without a shield of your own, you will quickly be overwhelmed by enemy fire. But the shields also have a weakness beyond the slow blade. Ranged attacks cannot be fired from inside an active shield, creating a window of opportunity for the others to exploit. Specialized range weapons can counteract shields. The drill shot rifle fires drilling darts that will attach to a shield and slowly pass through. The disruptor fires statically charged darts at variable speeds to overwhelm the power supply of the shield. Abilities can turn the tide of any battle. Swordmasters use their deflection ability to close the distance and bring their crippling strikes to bear on their enemies. Troopers use their techniques to take to the air and bring death from above. Bene Gesserits stop enemies in their tracks with the power of the voice, or use their Bindu dash to quickly close the gap. Mentats control the battlefield with their sentinel, or use the Hunter-Seeker for a silent takedown. Abilities, ranged weapons, shields and melee work in concert to allow mastery. But beyond mastery lies the spice. Consume it to awaken. Transcend human limits with new abilities and pressures, seeing what others cannot, the narrow path to victory. Combine these techniques freely to experience sandbox combat. Create unique strategies and bring them to bear against your foes. Always remember, Arrakis takes the lead.
Cool. I'm happy that the audio was fixed. I was sweating, like, oh my god. Okay. So yeah, that helps me just to breathe a little bit and show you our video game. We're very proud of it. But when you are an artist, if you notice some of the stuff, it's a tricky video game because you can do whatever you want. Over my career in these years, I work in other video games that you have a lot more control, right? Like more story-driven, or like The Last of Us, for example. Those type of video games, you have a lot of control about your player, right? Okay, you start here, you go to that point. If you want to just lose your time a little bit and be there like watching the NPCs, maybe there's two guys talking like this, but you're forced to go that way, and you hit an invisible wall in a lot of there's a lot of story-driven content. And here, no, you can do whatever you want. And that's a pain in the ass for the developer because, yeah, the player will always find a way of finding a spot that you don't want them to be. They'll find it in 2 seconds, right? So what is Dune Awakening? Yeah, it's an MMO, so that also makes things a little bit more complicated in terms of performance. It's a crafting game also. That's something my team, we tended to forget sometimes because I guess it was natural to actually forget in a way. Like the players are building their bases everywhere, right? You can craft, you can build your base. Those bases can be pretty big. There's a lot of players. Players get really addicted in building. So you decided an environment, and now it's full of gigantic towers and very odd stuff. And the people is very creative. But yeah, sometimes you don't really predicted those creations or how big they could become, stuff like that. So yeah, there's a lot of players. There's a lot of abilities. The abilities are very colorful, as you've seen. The seals, there's like pure blue. A lot of information in the screen. So I don't know, what do you think? But in that video, gameplay video, you already see a lot of stuff, colors, info everywhere, right? So when I contacted FUNCOM and we started working together, they asked me, yeah, why do you want to join? I gave that answer that I just told you, like, I don't want to be this businessman anymore. I don't want to be this studio head. I want to be with the team. And they told me the status of the project. And in that moment, this project has been in development for a while. And it really changed over the development. I guess because the industry was also changing, because we had technology change in the middle of the project, like Unreal 5, for example. So there was an update in the industry while we were developing it, right? So the project changed direction a lot of times. Like, okay, now actually the movie was released also. So yeah, a lot of factors that actually made the team, I wasn't there back then, but made the team thinking about maybe we should do the things differently now. I'm a big fan of the movie myself. The last one, I'm also a fan of the first one, or the David Lynch one. But I read the novels also before joining the project. So I was really interested in Dune universe. And this is some of the stuff I want to share with you here. So I don't know how many people is an artist here in this room, work as an artist. All right. Okay, that I should have asked this before. Now I feel more relaxed. A lot of artists around. Okay, cool. So what happened, this is what I said at the beginning, this is not going to be a technical talk. And you're not going to hear anything, I'm not reinventing the wheel, like, oh, fuck, I didn't know that, I'm gonna implement that in my project. But I was trying to bring something that was basic, maybe, or I thought that was basic for me, or how I saw the things. And I hope, and I want to think that it helped in a way. So when I arrived, we had a bit of a problem with the performance. The performance was not really good. And I was asking my first week there to the art team, I'm going to drop this to my team. Like they were like hippies, like, performance. We'll worry about that later. And I was like, man, the game is running terrible. Like, you cannot play this. Performance, someone will fix it later. That was a little bit like that. And I was like, oh my God, man, we are fucked up. We are fucked up. Like, we are not. So I started talking to the technical director, and he was like, yes, we are fucked up. So before thinking in fancy ways of actually improving the performance and, techniques that, of course, we did in Unreal, and we did a lot of profiling, but we were talking about the basics with the team, like less is more. This is something I really think in general, less is more. I work in the environment side of things, so maybe people think differently in other departments, but I really think that less is more, especially in Dune. Dune is a pretty minimalist world, right? In the films, if you see it, it's very sober. It's very you don't get a lot of noise everywhere. Like for example, a lot of feedbacks. Sometimes you add too much info and you start going very generic sci-fi, very Star Wars, which is fantastic. I love it. If you see my PC, I mean, I have a lot of stickers of Star Wars, but that's a different universe, right? So less is more, areas of rest, the materials, yeah, some of this stuff that I'll be talking about. So one that is very silly, maybe, but it's not so silly, is the personal pre-production. So this was the first thing I asked to the team, like, do you really spend time on this? Like doing pre-pro, doing pre-production of everything you start. Like if we are going to start a level outdoors, are we doing any type of personal pre-production? And most of them, they weren't doing it. And I mean, I'm the same type of artist also. Like it's very easy to forget the basics when you are in production, when you are running all the day, when you have a tight deadline and you're running all the day, right? You need to deliver something for Friday. So I'm not gonna spend Monday doing pre-production. I'm losing one day already. I just run. And I started working with the team and okay, let's just stop a little bit and let's run less. And the producers were a little bit like this. No, don't say that. But I thought like if we were relaxing for a second and doing some pre-pro, getting the foundations done, we will be quicker. So if this is just my personal tip and how I see things, this is really, really important. It took years for me to realize it. I was doing pre-pro a lot of times in other projects just because the lead was there and I needed to show something like, yes, this is my pure ref, this is my mirror, these are my references. I didn't really spend time on that. It was just so they don't tell me anything. But yeah, even if this is obvious, we tend to forget it. I really think so. So I think it's very important that we do. And when we are created Dune, yeah, you are doing another desert. You're doing another, more sand here. There's another rock. But anyways, it was good to spend time on this. And I think that's a very important thing. Areas of rest is something else that I love to talk about. That it maybe sounds very obvious. I think all of this might sound very obvious, but we really tend to forget. And I have like sticky. I have OCD. I think I'm a special guy. I guess I have post-its in my screen with these things like areas of rest, do pre-pro, drink water. And this is my favorite one. So when you see the video game, I'm actually going a little bit. Yeah, let's stay here and I'll go back. When you're an artist and you're creating the universe, the environment, you don't see the characters normally. You're just on your scene. There's no characters. There's no buildings for the players. So everything looks empty sometimes. And if you're working on something for a long time, you start seeing things even more empty. So there's a natural reaction that is, okay, I need to start to add more stuff. I need to add more info. I'm going to add some crazy lighting here. Oh, let's put this crazy VFX. You start adding stuff. And at the end, you're going to have characters in there with special effects, the seals, blue, firing, grenades, sound, like people building bases in the background. Like, I don't know, there's a lot of stuff that will be building on top of that. So that areas of rest and less is more, that was something I was trying to really focus on. Like, let's not be very aggressive because there's going to be a lot of things built on top. So, yes, if we see these images are not mine. I don't know the original artist, so sorry about that. I think the next one I actually found it. But yeah, I don't know the original artist here. But I really like these two examples, right? If we are talking about video games, about design, pathfinding, even performance, the image in the right is very good if that's a level, right? Because I know where I need to go. I see a path. I have a lot of rest in the rest of the image. There's no info there. And actually yesterday I was here in Lille, which I'm loving. I don't know if some of you are from Lille or you are just moving here for the event, but it's a lovely city. Everything I saw so far is beautiful. You know that. And I was thinking in the areas of rest and everything in the city. So this is a principle I like to bring. Same for that prop in the smaller prop here. If everything was full of noise, probably we wouldn't like that prop here. But hey, I opened just one door. The rest is pretty simple. I don't need anything else there. That's why this small detail, actually why I move I have this thing, right? Yeah. Though this area is really key. It's looking fantastic because everything else is not stealing the protagonism, right? So I think these examples are very easy to see. This is another thing I really like to remind myself, the frequencies, and this is maybe more subjective. So the three images here, they have the same amount of boxes. What is better? I don't think that's the question. What looks better? I think all of them look differently, and that's okay. It's just about probably if we're thinking in a video game or a level, actually an environment, I think this is the one that looks better to me. And it's the same amount of boxes, but they're different sizes. So it is easier to actually define a space if you give me 50 boxes, if I change their sizes, right? There's also like some variations in the value of the gray, right? So I really like this example. And this is something, again, that if we see these images, oh, that's very silly maybe. But when you're building environments and you're doing it non-stop, maybe you tend to forget also this, like the amount, the size of the detail you add. This is something I really like this image. Less is more, just that, really. I'm all the day repeating myself with this, less is more. Maybe that's just my personal taste, but that was something I really enjoyed when building the desert also. Like, I'm relaxed here, I don't have anxiety. This is just sand and a couple rocks. This image is not mine, this one, but I love it. I think it really, I placed it here. It's one of my, I actually have it in my room. I placed it here because it talks about everything that we just said. Areas of rest, I don't know. I think it's very dark in this screen, at least from here, but big area of rest. There's no info in the left side of the image, right? The frequencies, again, there's this big blue that is flat, pretty flat. Then there's this thing that it looks has a lot of info, right? With the lines. So different sizes, different directions also. Area of rest, so I can just relax and my eye can focus. I really like this image. Same here. Again, this image is not mine. The rest, they are. But I think it's the same principle, right? Big areas of rest, a lot of snow, different frequencies. I have very spiky, small things, bigger, medium, huge. And it really works well, this image. I really like it. And for video games, it's great because it's very easy to define the path also if you want with these type of things. Maybe I just add the light in there. But I think these principles also help in the design itself, right? So this is one screenshot of the desert. Probably right now it's full of player bases. And we joke about that, the team and I sometimes, like, fuck. Look at that. It was fantastic, and now it looks like a real estate full of buildings. You actually need to pay taxes in our game when you build your stuff. If you go very big, you need to pay taxes. So yeah, I'm happy about that because I love this corner. But again, when we were defining the different areas of the game, that was tricky because you are in the desert. Also, you'll see now another video, and it was like, no, we're gonna. The art director, senior art director, Gavin, my boss, no, we are now defining this place. It's in the desert, it's about sand, and we're going to have rocks. So it's, okay, the same thing we need to define differently. It was tricky, but it was cool. And yeah, frequencies, areas of rest, less is more. I think is achieved in these images. These are images are outdated. Actually, we see text in there, some pink stuff. It's not finalized. All these placeholders in there. But it's the same type of thing, right? Areas of rest for the pathfinding, if we can define the path, different frequencies. Actually, these things were way bigger, but we like this in this size. There's text for just level design, like let's put here whatever. We use text a lot in Unreal. That was something that we also implemented through the project. Is there someone here in level design? Doing level design? You're the minority, guys. So we weren't really using text in the project, and the level designer was doing like a small compo, which is fine. Like, okay, there's a dead guy with blood and some detail. And I asked them to please start using the text, because maybe something visually is easy to understand for you, but it's way easier if you read it. Like, this guy is dead. Someone killed him. A rock fell from the roof. So I think it's great, guys, level designers, if you can add text and then leave the art to us. But I'm just joking. I don't want to be an asshole. Here, a little bit the same. Let me actually play a video. This video we released before, like 6 months before the game, so it's a little bit outdated. We can turn this a little bit higher, the volume. My team would kill me because there's a lot of bugs in this video, like LODs. but I really like it. I think I'm very happy about the work we did and the team, what they achieved. They did an amazing job. It's awesome to be part of this project. Tricky project because what we explained, right? So more stuff that I try to work around with my team is the narrative. That again might sound very silly. Again, it's like, yes, sure, I understand what I'm doing, but I use this zebras example, like when you're sculpting a head in zebras, especially the first one you do, and you're just focusing on one side, like front view or left view, and it's beautiful, and then you rotate and it's completely fucked up, and you feel like, oh man, I need to start again. It's because you zoom in so much on your image, on your craft, you forgot about the whole thing, right? So in the game, it was happening a little bit the same. We were forgetting that we were in Arrakis, we were in the desert, we were in a very harsh planet, and we were creating very micro stories, very small stories that they didn't really belong to the world anymore. Like we were zooming in so much in our heads that we forgot the whole thing. We forgot the foundation. So this point is about that. Like sometimes you just need to wake up from your desk, relax a little bit. I really think so. I'm not a friend of actually being 8 hours sitting in the desk non-stop, like I need to produce like crazy. I don't think it works like that at all. If you're not being effective, if you're doing something that we're gonna scrap and start again. So I think it's really important that you actually stop for a second, talk to another colleague, get more opinions. I do a lot of screenshots while I'm working constantly. I do a couple of screenshots, then I go for water, whatever, because the post-it says drink water. And then I come back and I say, okay, this is not really working. So yeah, micro set dressing. We were joking about one thing in particular in Dune, that was, you saw the camps of the guys, and there was like a fire camp and some chairs and food. Yeah, and the thing made kind of sense if you zoom in, but they were like in the middle of them, like in the middle of the desert, like the sun was up. Like, why are we building this? And we tended to really forget, like, okay, it doesn't make any sense. Let's actually change this completely. Yeah, less is more. Again, we try to really focalize the same props in different areas. Like we were building the desert and the different areas that you saw in the video, and they're pretty much all the same, right? They're in the desert pretty close to each other, so you cannot be crazy. You cannot add like green things and foliage also, because there's foliage in our game, but it's pretty localized. So you're in Arrakis, you're in the same spot, but how can we make it different? So using some particular elements, just in some specific places, we managed to, change the look a little bit. And then the lighting. I think the lighting team made an amazing job. The 3D team made an amazing job, but what happened in a moment of the project is that we were working in bubbles a little bit. Like, okay, there's the environment artist here, there's the 3D artist, the lighting artist, whatever, animator, but it felt a lot like a chain. Big production, 300 guys. Like, okay, I do my thing and I send it to the lighting. I do my thing and I send it to whatever. And we felt a little bit disconnected. So that was a problem, because if the environment artist is thinking, oh, this level is looking boring, I need to add the stuff, I need to add more stuff. Then you start creating that error of a lot of info. So that was another thing, like, hey guys, let's rely on the lighters. Let's no need to add a lot of things. I was talking about Lille before, because in a way, maybe it's because I'm completely mad, but sorry. When I was getting the screenshots for the talk, this cobblestone floor and the city remind me somehow, like the streets I was walking around. If you remove the NPCs, if you remove that guy that's actually waving you like, hey, come here, buy my products. If you remove the lighting, maybe you think the environment is boring. So if you're an environment artist, oh, I need to add stuff. I'm going to add here, cables, whatever, like info. And we went one step back. Like, I think it's working fine. And I really like this image. Same for here. Then you need to add the UI on top, more info everywhere, the BFX of the sand bike. So yeah. I think the lighting really makes a difference when you're playing in ultra graphics with Unreal 5 lighting. I really like that exterior lighting. I think that really the engines have improved a lot, like in the last 10 years in this. Same for this spot. When you're designing it, there's a lot of light source. So a lot of the stuff that the team was working with is this. Like, yeah, again, there's no need to maybe add a lot of flags, a lot of whatever. Maybe we can just open hole in the roof and that's it. Like, rather than adding, just remove. So this room that was boring, it instantly became way more interesting because there's light coming from there. There's a secondary light source here on the left. So the environment is fine. You don't need to add more stuff. Less is more. The areas of rest, those type of things, again, frequencies, and it will just happen. It will just be okay in the end. So I don't know why every time I push this arrow, I see questions there. There's another one here, playing with the light. This is a concept art, actually. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, actually, there's another one. Cool. Yeah, bear with me, guys. It's not easy to be here in front of you. The inspiration is another thing. And I was having a very interesting conversation yesterday in the speakers' dinner. And I really like, I think his name was Oliver. He's giving a talk, he's doing music. I really like what he said. Like, he told me that one boss or someone told him, man, you cannot force the people to be passionate about their craft. Like, there's people that just come here because it's her job. That's it. They work here, they do the shift, they leave. And that's it. It's fair, it's fine. They don't really, I mean, they have a life after the video game industry, and they don't really, you cannot really force them to be passionate about everything they do. And I think this is a kind of similar and related, which is the inspiration. I talk to my team a lot, and I'm not inspired. And I guess that's about being an artist. You cannot be a robot. You won't be producing every day the same. And that's fine. Give yourself, you're all artists pretty much. So give yourself some chance also. Be kind to yourself. I'm an asshole to myself, like a lot. I demand myself a lot. And if I'm not delivering what I expect from me, I'm really pushing myself. No one else is doing that. No one else is telling me anything, but me, I'm being an asshole to myself. Like, man, you need to deliver. This is bad. This is bad. Come on, you can do better. I think that's good in a way, as long as it's not toxic and you keep it in a healthy relation to push yourself and be better. But it's fine if you don't nail it every single day. It's fine. You're not a robot. That's why we work in teams. I think that's a beautiful thing about working in teams. Your colleague will do better today for you. You'll do better tomorrow. That's fine. We are just a team. Let's rely on the others. Let's actually really rely on the others and ask for help. Express yourself. But also the inspiration, it won't come to your door and knock the door. Like, hey, here I am. Now you're inspired. Go craft, go do stuff. You need to look for it. And I use the Instagram as an example. I lose a lot of time in Instagram. I didn't have a smartphone till a couple years ago. I was pretty hippie. And then I got the smartphone and I'm freaking addicted. Like I'm very addicted. Sometimes I don't even realize, and I do this with the phone and I start scrolling and then I think to myself what I'm doing. Like I'm not even know what I was watching. Like I'm addicted to these things. So you lost a lot of time watching reels, things that they don't really make anything good for you. I mean, you don't need that info. So rather than doing that, actually, maybe you can spend time watching someone else work. You can play video game also. You can watch a film. You can just spend time in art station. So if you're gonna lose time, which is fine, maybe you can just lose it differently and get some inspiration. Also, I think the inspiration is out of there in the world. Like really, I work as a teacher in the university, so I really say this to my students, like, man, really change if I can transfer you something in this year that we're working together, if I can teach you something, I would love that. Is just the way you look at the things. Like, that's all. Like, maybe not the technical things in Unreal, but the way you look at the things. Like, try to be a little bit. A friend told me, like, my life is like a movie. Like, since I started, like, really making my life like a movie in a good way, like everything is so cool and look at this street, and it started to become better. And it actually helped me, not professionally, but also personally. So I think you need to go find the inspiration. It won't come to your door. So yeah, that's it. I apologize for my English, and sometimes I just made words that doesn't exist, but I hope that you got the message. And I don't know if you have any questions, would be great.
Thank you for the conference. It's very interesting to take a look at the environments and how it works. My question is, you mentioned that there was a disconnect between the artists during production. And how did you approach it? How did you resolve it? Was it more of a communication problem, or was it more of a vision problem that like people couldn't agree on what to put in the game?
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of both. Since we worked remotely, I said we had different offices right in Europe. That doesn't help since we started all this remote hybrid mode from COVID. In general, in the industry I'm talking, I think that's changed a little bit the things and makes things trickier. Before, everyone was under the same roof, right? Building whatever, we're doing this, we go for this, why we build this. And now it's a little bit more tricky. But even though people in the same office, they were a little bit disconnected. So I don't know if because us, the human beings, we're becoming more and more disconnected from each other. And I think we're becoming more individualist in general. So I think, yeah, it was a communication issue mainly. Like, okay, let's talk more. Let's actually get to agreements also. And artists, we all have ego. And that's okay, but we all have ego. So it's like, no, I want it this way. You want it that way. So yeah, I would say communication was the main issue. Like, okay, let's try to get to agreements together and build together. And also the production itself, because maybe we don't have many lighters as environment artists, for example. So maybe we create 5 levels and then they're just in Jira for the lighting team and they'll pick it up after, maybe it's 1 month after. So we haven't really built the thing together from the beginning because there's too many places. It's a very big game. So that was one issue. And we tried to make it better, just talking more and changing a little bit how we produce the stuff. So everyone was more looped. Yeah.
And now that the game is published, about the same problem, if you were to approach it, if you were to approach the same problem, what would you do differently this time?
Sorry?
About the communication problem.
Yeah.
Now, if you were to approach the problem now, how would you change your approach?
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's easier now that we have perspective and you look at the things like in the past with perspective. But yeah, it's the there's a saying in Spanish which is don't dress me very fast because I'm late. I don't know if that makes sense in your language, but it's a similar thing. I think we were trying to run too much, and we were bottlenecking at the end and failing at the end. So it would be just, okay, let's stop for a second. Let's spend more time in the pre-pro. Let's actually build the foundations a little bit better, and then we'll be faster. I think we were running too much because of the pressure.
Thank you.
Hello. It was a nice talk, thank you. I have a question about, you mentioned that something you didn't really expect was the profusion of, like all these buildings made by players. It's true, it was a bit striking for me when I tried the game. Like starting the game and seeing all these buildings everywhere, it's like a bit of the contrary to the Dune, being lost on Dune. And I feel it might be very frustrating for the art team and maybe you, I don't know. Like, is there any plans to improve that, evolve on another system? Like, are you stuck with this and the world being like scattered with buildings everywhere at every step?
I mean, our game has a late end area that is a deep desert, and in that area there's no buildings. Actually, you cannot really build there. So there's a lot of sand, there's a lot of areas of rest, everything is one. But yeah, no, it's frustrating. Yes, for us, especially that image that we saw before, right? And now you see it and there's like 200 hotels around it, and people can craft with any type of shape. So yeah, it's a little bit, breaks the immersion a little bit, but yeah, it's what it is. It's the type of game. We are not really, I mean, there's a lot of things that are blocked for the players, like main roads, point of interest, but yeah, the freedom is what we give to them. So yeah, it's not cool as an artist. Okay, this is the last question.
Yeah, okay, hello. Thank you for conference. To add to the previous question, how did you plan that the players would build everywhere when you design the environment? And also, now that you know how the player build when you give them environments to build in, how would you design differently to accommodate how they are going to devastate your environment?
Oh, I don't even know how to answer that. To be fair, I don't know what we can do. But I mean, yes, there's a lot of blocking building areas that we have. Maybe we can be more aggressive, but there's a different profiles here. Not everyone is an artist developing the game, and they'll say, "Man, you're cutting the fun. Don't tell me your artistic things. That's not funny." So yeah, I guess that's fine. We are making a video game, so that's after all, we're making a video game. So yeah, I don't know what we can do.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here. Really appreciate it.